So Eva, tell us a story. How did you come to the field of landscape architecture?
I always loved plants. I would pick flowers in the winter in Norway that was just really dry, or because there wasn't anything else there. But I always loved design. I knew I wanted to do some design. I didn't even know there was anything called landscape architecture. So I was thinking I was going to do interior design. And then I worked in a nursery after school and stuff, and somebody said, "Oh, you should become a landscape architect." I was like, "Is that a thing?"
That's a thing. So was that while you were young?
Yeah, when I was in like high school.
A lot of the women we've talked to have found it later in life. So you're the
Yeah.
first person we've talked to that you sort of early decided this is something I want to do.
Okay, yeah, yep,
Interesting.
yeah.
So you came to America.
Yes, in 2000. And I got my education in landscape architect from Norway. So I came to America and I obviously had to learn some new plans. And some of them were the same plans, but they would like different things here than they do in Norway. And the worst thing I had to learn was inches and inches and feet.
Converting from metric.
Yeah, that was the hardest.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So you have a firm today, yes?
Yes.
And small, large, medium, how would you phrase it? How would you call it?
We're small. We're like 9 people now. So it's kind
That's
of
more than
a big small one.
It's a big small.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a big small.
Yeah.
So let me think.
And it's called Shades of Green Landscape Architecture.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of what else I would want to ask you. So I've been in this business for 30 plus years. We don't have to be too specific.
Yeah.
But having said that, my anecdotal knowledge is there weren't as many women in design and landscape architecture when I first started.
Uh-huh.
Like my first landscape architecture conventions did not have as many women here.
Yeah.
Can you talk for a minute about women in landscape architecture? Their
Yeah,
presence
well, Yeah, well, I graduated in 95, and our class was 24 women and 1 boy. And so that was in Norway.
That was in Norway.
But later, the younger classes has kind of evened out, so it's a little more
Right.
50-50. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of women in landscape architecture, and I think a lot of women that are really good landscape architects.
Well, I
Do
think
fantastic
so too.
architecture.
Do you perceive
design.
any, quote, glass ceiling in landscape architecture for women?
Yeah, I do a lot of residential, so I don't think there's a glass ceiling there, but I think there is in the bigger commercial,
In corporate?
in corporate, bigger project. I have a feeling there is a glass ceiling, but I have not experienced it.
I gotcha.
In residential, we actually deal with a lot of women. The wife or the woman in the relationship is often our main contact.
Well, as a residential designer myself, I do always find there's an interesting dynamic between
Yep.
the husband and wife in
Yes.
creating their quote-unquote space.
Yes.
So, all right, well, here I'm just going to ask a question. So, do you think that perhaps you have an advantage by coming at it from a female perspective, or yes or no? No, not really?
I probably in some cases, in other cases not, probably.
Right, so
yeah, 50-50 probably.
50-50. All right, that's interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, when they come to you, they have already decided that they want to go for this.
Right.
And I think to design a garden, and I think what seals the deal is that people feel very insecure what to do about their outside because they feel it's
Sure.
too technical.
Well, it's complicated,
It's
isn't it?
It is complicated.
Living things, non-living things,
Yeah.
surfaces, spaces, circulation, right?
Yeah. So it is complicated, and they feel they need some help, and yeah, instead of just hiring somebody that plant a little bit, yeah, people like to kind of have somebody that help them figure out the space, how to use the space, how to utilize it, and how to get plants that will grow and be happy there, and create an environment for both people and plants and pets that
Well, great.
could be good.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.
All right.